1. A CMM is designing a training program for new meeting planners. Which adult learning strategy best promotes engagement? A. Interactive role-playing of meeting scenarios. B. A lecture-only presentation without participation. C. Assigning reading material only. D. Showing a pre-recorded webinar without interaction. 2. When evaluating a planner's ability to develop a meeting budget, which method is most reliable? A. Asking the planner to submit a theoretical essay. B. Observing the planner create a live budget with real constraints. C. Conducting a group discussion on budgeting principles. D. Reviewing past budgets without context. 3. In curriculum development for CMM training, what should be the first step? A. Selecting presentation slides. B. Defining learning objectives aligned with industry standards. C. Scheduling training sessions. D. Designing quizzes. 4. A trainee consistently mismanages meeting timelines. Which mentoring approach is most effective? A. Providing verbal corrections only. B. Modeling proper timeline management and guiding the trainee through examples. C. Assigning additional readings. D. Allowing self-correction without guidance. 5. Which communication technique best ensures clarity when presenting a meeting plan to stakeholders? A. Using technical jargon to demonstrate expertise. B. Presenting visual timelines with plain language explanations. C. Sending a long written report without verbal explanation. D. Speaking quickly to cover all topics. 6. A CMM trainer wants to ensure training adheres to regulatory standards. Which action is most appropriate? A. Relies solely on company procedures. B. Review the latest legal and regulatory requirements for meetings and incorporate them. C. Use outdated procedures for convenience. D. Wait for a compliance audit to identify gaps. 7. To measure a trainee's competency in venue selection, which assessment is most valid? A. Multiple choice questions about venues. B. Observation of a practical venue selection exercise considering cost, location, and logistics. C. Self-assessment survey. D. Group brainstorming discussion. 8. A mentor notices a trainee struggles with negotiating contracts. Which adult learning approach is most effective? A. Demonstrate negotiation scenarios and allow trainees to practice with feedback. B. Provide only a negotiation checklist. C. Let the trainee negotiate without guidance. D. Ask another trainee to teach them. 9. When designing a meeting planning course, how can alignment between instruction and assessment be ensured? A. Randomly assign exercises and tests. B. Apply backward design by mapping objectives to assessments. C. Let each instructor design independently. D. Create assessments without defined learning objectives. 10. During a live session, a trainee asks a complex question about compliance. How should the trainer respond? A. Answer immediately, even if it disrupts the session. B. Ignore the question. C. Acknowledge the question and schedule dedicated follow-up time. D. Ask other trainees to answer. 11. Which step is most critical to ensure compliance with ADA and safety regulations in meetings? A. Estimating attendance without verification. B. Reviewing venue accessibility and legal requirements before finalizing. C. Asking attendees informally about their needs. D. Skipping compliance checks to save time. 12. A trainee struggles with stakeholder communication. What mentoring strategy is most effective? A. Allow independent trial and error. B. Provide guided exercises and role-play with feedback. C. Assign readings only. D. Observe without input. 13. To teach risk management in meetings, which method most reinforces learning? A. Lecture without examples. B. Hands-on risk identification exercises with real case studies. C. Assign theoretical readings only. D. Discuss theory in abstract without practice. 14. A trainee often misses follow-up tasks. Which evaluation method best identifies the underlying issue? A. Review their workflow and task management step by step. B. Ask peers for opinions. C. Multiple choice test. D. Survey confidence levels. 15. When reporting meeting outcomes to executives, which communication method ensures clarity? A. Detailed technical report only. B. Visual summaries with concise verbal explanation. C. Only email tables. D. Speak using industry acronyms only. 16. Which mentoring technique supports a trainee transitioning from small internal meetings to large-scale conferences? A. Let them manage large meetings independently. B. Scaffold learning with incremental exposure and guided feedback. C. Observe only. D. Assign theoretical readings without practice. 17. Ensuring proper documentation of meeting plans falls under which category? A. Learning objective. B. Regulatory compliance requirement. C. Optional best practice. D. Instructor preference. 18. A trainee resists using formal evaluation methods. Which communication approach is most effective? A. Explain relevance and benefits of structured evaluation. B. Ignore resistance. C. Demand compliance without explanation. D. Assign unrelated tasks. 19. In revising a training module, what ensures regulatory alignment? A. Remove regulatory content. B. Map learning outcomes to legal and industry standards. C. Delete assessments. D. Let instructors interpret standards independently. 20. A trainee prioritizes aesthetics over functionality in event design. How should a mentor respond? A. Praise aesthetics regardless of outcomes. B. Emphasize functional priorities and demonstrate proper planning. C. Assign punitive exercises. D. Allow mistakes to accumulate. 21. Which adult learning strategy best supports mastery of budgeting and financial reporting for meetings? A. Rote memorization of forms. B. Project-based exercises using realistic budgets. C. Passive observation. D. Single high-stakes exam. 22. A trainer needs to assess competency quickly. Which method is most effective? A. Hands-on practical exercise. B. Long theoretical essay. C. Multiple choice exam only. D. Peer evaluation. 23. To teach site inspection techniques, instructors should use text-only lectures. B. Provide case studies with visual and interactive elements. C. Skip examples. D. Avoid participant questions. 24. Trainees produce inconsistent meeting agendas. Which evaluation method identifies the issue fastest? A. Review agenda templates and workflow. B. Ask for verbal reflection only. C. Wait for monthly review. D. Administer a theory quiz. 25. Which practice ensures adherence to ethical and legal standards in meeting planning? A. Follow personal preference. B. Incorporate updated codes and compliance protocols. C. Skip standards. D. Rely on coworker assumptions. 26. A program covers both corporate and association meetings. How should outcomes be structured? A. Focus only on corporate meetings. B. Define specific outcomes for both types. C. Avoid assessments. D. Let trainees choose what to learn. 27. Trainees forget key stakeholder management principles. Which technique most improves retention? A. Spaced and repeated practice with real scenarios. B. Single intensive session. C. No practice. D. Only reading materials. 28. Before mentoring new meeting planners, a CMM should first A. Assign tasks without assessment. B. Assess individual skill levels and learning needs. C. Apply identical instruction to all. D. Avoid discussions. 29. To evaluate the ability to identify and correct planning errors, which method is most appropriate? A. Error identification exercises. B. Vocabulary quiz. C. Attendance check. D. Self-reported confidence survey. 30. A session is running behind schedule. How should instruction proceed without compromising learning? A. Skip content. B. Summarize key points and provide supplemental material. C. End early. D. Rush topics. 31. Which element is required for compliance documentation in meetings? A. Personal opinions. B. Accurate records of decisions and actions. C. Irrelevant notes. D. Unverifiable feedback. 32. A trainee hesitates to provide input during sessions. Which mentoring approach encourages engagement? A. Public criticism. B. Create a supportive environment and prompt participation. C. Ignore. D. Assign more homework. 33. When aligning a meeting planning course with industry standards, what is most critical? A. Map content to legal, ethical, and professional standards. B. Remove complex content. C. Use outdated guidelines. D. Reduce assessments. 34. A trainee is struggling to apply contingency planning during large conference preparations. Which instructional method is most effective for improving their skills? A. Provide hands-on scenario-based contingency planning exercises. B. Assign a textbook chapter on contingency theory. C. Allow the trainee to observe others without participation. D. Provide only written guidelines without practice. 35. A CMM trainer wants to ensure that adult learners retain complex legal compliance requirements. Which method is most effective? A. Delivering a single long lecture on compliance. B. Using spaced learning with case-based application exercises. C. Asking trainees to memorize legal codes verbatim. D. Providing a legal reference document without explanation.